Good morning, boys and girls. It's great to be back with you this Tuesday morning. I've been missing you, and I hope you've had a great week. Today, we're going to read the story about David and the giant. Long ago, God's people, the Israelites, began grumbling and grew impatient. They wanted a king to rule over them, so God gave them Saul. At first, Saul was a good king, but then he began to disobey God. So God decided to choose a new king. Go to Bethlehem, God told his prophet Samuel, and find a man named Jesse. I've chosen one of his sons to be Israel's new king, and I'll show you which one. So Samuel traveled to Bethlehem. After seeing Jesse's oldest son, Samuel thought, surely he must be the new king. But God said, no, it isn't him. You can only see what's on the outside of a man, but I can see inside his heart. So Jesse brought his next son to Samuel, and his next, and his next. 7 sons paraded before Samuel, but God each time said, no, that's not the one. There he is. Do you have any more sons? Samuel asked. So Jesse sent for his youngest son, David, who was out tending sheep. When David came, God said, he's the one, anoint him. Samuel took a horn of oil and poured it over David, and from that day on the Spirit of the Lord was with him. But the Spirit of the Lord left Saul, and an evil spirit came to trouble him. Music will help you feel better, Saul's servant said. Let us find someone to play the harp for you. One servant remembered that David played the harp and sent for him. Whenever the evil spirit troubled Saul, David would play his harp and Saul would feel better. So David traveled back and forth from watching his father's sheep to play for Saul. There's David and Saul. Now Israel was at war with the Philistines. The Philistine army gathered on one hill while Saul and the Israelites faced them on another hill. The Philistines had a warrior named Goliath, and he was a giant. He stood 9 feet 9 inches tall. His armor weighed 125 pounds. He carried a huge bronze sword and a spear with a heavy iron point. One day Goliath marched out and shouted, there's no need for all of us to fight. Choose one man to fight me. If he wins, we'll be your servants. But if I win, then you'll be our servants. Saul and the Israelites were terrified. No one wanted to fight Goliath. There's Goliath standing up. There's them on their hill. Every morning and every evening for 40 days, Goliath marched out and shouted his challenge to the Israelites. But no one dared to fight him. Jesse's 3 oldest sons were at the battle with Saul. One day Jesse told David to go and check on his brothers. David reached their camp and found his brothers just as Goliath came marching out. He listened to the giant's shout, then watched as all the Israelites trembled with fear. Who is this Philistine to challenge the armies of the living God? David demanded. Is it in there? King Saul heard what David had said and sent for him. I'll fight this Goliath for you, David told Saul. You can fight that giant, said Saul. You're just a boy. But David said, when a lion or a bear attacks my father's sheep, I grab it by its spur and strike it down. The giant will be like one of them. God saved me from the lion and the bear, and he'll save me from Goliath. Saul agreed to let David fight and even gave him his own armor to wear. David strapped it on and tried to walk. I can't even walk in these, he said, and took them off. Instead, David took his own staff and sling. Then after putting 5 smooth stones in his pouch, he set off to face Goliath. See, there's David. The armor is so heavy he can't even hold it up hardly. When Goliath saw David coming, he shouted, "Am I a dog that you come to fight me with sticks?" But David said, "You come to fight me with a spear and a sword, but I come in the name of God, and he will hand you over to me." There's David talking to the giant. David ran towards Goliath. As he ran, he slipped a stone into his sling. Round and round went the sling, and at just the right moment, David let go, and the stone sailed through the air. It hit Goliath right in the forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they ran away. The Israelites gave a great shout and chased after them. And that was how God used David, a young shepherd boy, to defeat the mighty giant Goliath. See him there? There he is throwing the stone, and there he is, Goliath laying on the ground. In David, we see a picture of courageous faith in God's power. We also catch a glimpse of the coming king who no one would have expected or picked to win the victory, Jesus. Because he died and rose again, he is mighty to save. Our verse today is, "You will have suffering in this world, but be courageous. I have conquered the world." John 16:33. And there's David and Jesus' cross. Wasn't that a great story? And we can be courageous in the Lord. He's always with us, and he'll protect us. I hope you enjoyed our story this week, and I look forward to next Tuesday when I get to pick a new story for you. You just have a great week, and remember, God loves you, and so does Miss Susan. See you later.